Hey, this Hangout on Air is live. I don't know what. I think I started every single one this week with my finger wiping like shit out of my eye. Welcome. I'm wearing the wrong shirt too. Damn. Welcome to day 3 of the Awful Vid E3 coverage. My name is Brendan Bigley.
Brendan Bigley, the Turncoat. I'm Chris Morris.
Chris Morris, the unlikely hero. I'm Tim Linners.
So, as we're talking right now, the PC conference is still going.
Still happening.
Started at 9 o'clock our time. We're East Coast. It is 11:07, making it the longest press conference. It really feels like it.
It is
Cliffy B is still talking.
The PC gaming show.
Yeah, I have Twitter open in case something exciting is announced, but like, I don't know. It's weird. I mean, we'll get to it later, but it's just strange because the things that they're talking about are interesting, but they're just being presented in such like a mundane.
Oh God!
It just sucks all of the energy out. You know, like I'm excited about the Roller Coaster Tycoon guys getting together to make a new theme park sim that's not called Roller Coaster Tycoon. Like that's awesome. Yeah. That's why City Skylines is so exciting.
Yeah.
But
right.
When they got up on stage and talked about it, I felt nothing.
Oof.
Yeah.
But anyway, PC was the last one, and Nintendo was the first one. So we got to start with Nintendo. Let me just bring up my notes real quick, because we didn't know if we were going to start this or not, because the PC thing is still happening.
Yep. Still going.
Still going. They're playing something.
Finally.
Yeah.
Digital Storm.
Oh, okay.
Very few.
That's
very few actual gameplay demos happening.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of talking, a lot of nothing being said.
Yeah.
By some very talented people.
They did a very interesting. Oh, this is that gun game, the one where you literally fight bullets. Yeah, they did this interesting format where they kind of styled it like it was a late night show.
Yeah.
And so I don't know, I felt like with some of the other conferences that we've seen, there's a lot of different people either from within the same company or from various different companies representing different games, and so you kind of get this constant freshness, like it's always moving first towards something. Like there's always somebody new coming on stage. There's a new thing they're talking about. There's a new thing on screen, and to just kind of have this static setup.
Yeah.
Already, like just from a setting perspective and nothing else, already puts them at a weird kind of bland, stale place.
So I've never been more aware of my like ADD and lack of a focus and attention span than with this stuff. I thought I could pay attention to something for longer than a minute, but I guess I do need flashing lights and explosions.
Well, that's the thing. They were showing games with flashing lights and explosions, and it still was like I felt nothing.
Yeah.
So I guess diving right in. We started this morning with a Nintendo digital event is what they've chosen to call it. They call them digital events on E3, and then they're Nintendo Directs at all other times.
Yeah.
And it started the way everyone kind of expected it to end, which is with Star Fox. Real ass gameplay footage of Star Fox. Which I don't know. How do you guys feel about this? How do you guys feel about Star Fox? How do you feel about the Wii U? I have a lot of thoughts about this Nintendo.
Yeah,
event.
I'm sure you do.
This is the one I want to start by saying that I was most looking forward to Nintendo, even if they don't nail it, they always put on a good show at E3. That's what I like them the most.
They're the wild card. You kind of don't know where they're going to swing, but most of them.
They did something crazy. They did several crazy things.
They sure did swing.
Yeah,
I'll say that.
They were swinging all right.
Whether they hit the ball remains to be seen.
It was a yarn-covered ball on a tee.
Right, yeah, it didn't go super far because I found out someone missed the memo that you're supposed to put the baseball inside the yarn, so they ended up just hitting a yarn ball.
Well, now you make it, so it's all on you for not making it.
Yeah, you didn't make it right. Yeah.
The power is a new player.
You just hit it, and then it just kind of like sprinkled down. I'll just say it. I'm not excited about Star Fox. I think it looks really mundane. It looks like kind of an unfortunate lack of innovation, which I know is a crazy thing to say about a game made by Shigeru Miyamoto, especially when it comes from like as esoteric a place as his inspiration was from walking under archways, like, you know, which feels like an inherently Shigeru Miyamoto thing to say, oh, I walked through some archways and I wanted to make a game about that. How about a game where you play a fox in a spaceship dogfighting?
We called it Zero because the character looks great.
Yeah.
Like what? Yeah, really?
There was a lot of cool. It looks cool.
Yeah.
So that's why we made this huge decision about a flagship property.
Yeah, it was very strange. It was a very strange presentation. The one joke I made that didn't land on Twitter, and I'm going to say it now because I'm really excited about it still, because the ship transforms, you can press a button, and then it turns into like a little walker that has like little chicken legs, and I said that the new Star Fox is Chicken Ship, and I thought that was really funny. So I'm just putting it out there again to let it just fester. But anyway, I'm not excited about Star Fox, honestly. I am a person who loves the Wii U and was looking forward to seeing what Star Fox had to bring to the table. But as I was watching it, it occurred to me that I don't know how you could make me want a Star Fox in 2015.
Yeah, I played a lot of Star Fox 64 and basically seeing another Star Fox 64, but now like an extra walking mode doesn't throw me like too much excitement, you know?
Yeah, I mean, if it's not at this point in what Star Fox has become, if it's not him fighting people hand to hand, a la Super Smash, most people aren't really interested.
Yeah. That's basically it. Like Star Fox has become like a legacy character in a way. He's not like or Fox McCloud, I should say. He's not like, I don't know, there hasn't been a new entry in this franchise in forever, so I think the hope was that when it did come back, it would come back the right way, and I'm not 100% sure that this is the right way to do it.
You'd think they waited so long not doing one forever that they had something waiting, they had something going. But
yeah, something crazy. Like,
if this game came out like 5 years ago, I think I'd be like really excited about it. But
I think if this launched with the Wii U.
Yeah, even there.
Yeah.
You know?
But for this to be the tentpole release for the end of the year, I think is like a weird, you know, this is going to be 2015 on the Wii U is this Star Fox game.
Yeah.
It's a strange place to leave it.
Kind of like...
Which makes me now like worried like what they would do with a Wii Metroid game.
Yeah, that's...
If it's gonna be like a rehash, because that Star Fox, that trailer for Star Fox is like they've ripped so much just from 64. Corneria looks the same.
I know.
Vehicles were the same.
Yeah, and I don't want to be that guy.
If you had told me that was coming out on, sorry.
No, you go.
If they had told me that was coming out on the previous Wii or even the GameCube, I'd be like, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. I was just about to say, I don't want to be that guy because Nintendo isn't always known for its visuals, but it is known for its style, and I think that the style of this game is GameCube.
Yeah.
It's like, I hate shitting on it, you know? I hate sounding like the jaded piece of garbage talking about why Star Fox isn't exciting, but like, Star Fox isn't exciting for some reason.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's on us for perceiving it that way. You know what I mean?
No. Because I think it's a game. It's another example of Nintendo just not paying attention. Like, what have we seen? We've seen games that embrace competition. We've seen games that embrace big worlds. We've seen, just simply genre-wise, the dogfighting and dogfighting alone sim, even in its most like least simulated, most cartoonish form, is not a thing that's going on right now. So why
Unless it's
now?
Star Citizen because you have $82 million that you crowdfunded.
Right. Well, but that's the thing is like Star Citizen is an incredibly detailed, has a whole other thing that we haven't even seen yet. No Man's Sky has a whole other exploration aspect that we haven't seen. Like it's all the flying stuff is part of something, unless it's like Eve Valkyrie, and then it's something VR and crazy, and it's also different. Like I don't know, it just feels like another Star Fox game, and that is not inherently exciting.
Yeah, exactly. I was just about to say, I think the weird irony of it is that they showed off Star Fox and then cut to Reggie saying, basically, this Star Fox game is all about transformation, you transforming into the Walker, I guess, and that's going to be the theme of our show. And I weirdly think that the theme of the digital event was like a misunderstanding of what your audience wants, which is that's always been a Nintendo issue. Not always, but like kind of since like halfway through the Wii life cycle, I would say it's been a Nintendo issue. And this event like really kind of sealed the fact that they're kind of like grasping at straws instead of like grasping at our straws because we're holding them and trying to hand them to them.
We're literally trying to shove them in their faces, and they aren't paying attention.
Yeah, I was just saying before we started, Satoru Iwata, who is the CEO of Nintendo, tweeted this out. This is translated from Japanese. Thank you for watching. We take opinions of this year's digital event seriously and will work to better meet your expectations.
Better meet your expectations.
Yeah, which is I don't know. It's just very sad. It's just like a weird sad thing, which like unfortunately became the theme of our whole day. I think like the whole day has been weird, especially compared to yesterday's like bombshell after bombshell. I think Sony was incredibly exciting, but Microsoft at the time was also incredibly exciting, and there's nothing today that I was like, holy shit,
Yeah. I mean, you can talk about how like E3 is positioned in like 2015 with so much of the news just kind of being spread out throughout the year, but it's really good at like energizing the base. It's almost like a Democratic National Convention or something before a president.
Yeah, right.
You're getting like all your dudes excited for what's coming up, and like Sony went out there and just like knocked it out and made you feel like they're taking it. And even Microsoft came out and they have some awesome stuff coming too. And so no excitement whatsoever for a Star Fox game that should be there, and then pushing out like not to jump ahead or anything, but like the Xenoverse and like the Paper Mario cross Mario and Luigi, nothing like seemed to be exciting to anyone. Like I saw a lot of things going out that were like, that looks really cool. I want to check out that game, but not like holy shit, like through my Twitter feed like 50 times.
Yeah, I think what's most fascinating is that the next game that they announced was a new Zelda game, and like no one seems to be hyped about it. Like
did they sub out like the presentation for Japan with America? Like, did we get the wrong show?
Like, how many things can you show without subtitles and without dubbing? Like, you are in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Like, come on. Like, you put it so well. These conferences, especially when you're a console pushing company, like you are doing this to either convert people who haven't bought it yet, or to make the people who did really excited that they bought it, and to like reinforce the loyalty to the brand.
Yeah.
And they just fell flat on everything, and like everything was. They hit a Mario game, they hit a Metroid game, they hit a Zelda game, but none of those games were the games that anybody was asking for.
Right.
I think my example from earlier today that I was talking to Chris about when we were texting back and forth watching the Nintendo one was that it was like I wrote on my shopping list like, oh, can you pick me up some Tostitos? And you came back with the Tostitos with like the hint of lime flavor. And it's like, well, that's not what I asked for. I just asked for Tostitos. Why did you just assume I wanted the lime ones?
Mhm.
That's what this entire thing felt like. Specifically, the new Zelda for 3DS, which like is cool, but we don't know enough about it really, to be excited about it. But it's still coming out this year, so what?
Yeah.
And this new Metroid thing that also feels very similar in like a. So it's kind of multiplayer. It's also kind of a ripoff of Rocket League. It's also kind of like 80 different things. But what am I really buying? And why am I buying a sequel to Metroid Prime Hunters in the first place?
Yeah. When you have all of Metroid Prime to work with, like, I don't know.
Yeah. And I was going to save this for the end, but I think, Chris, you were just talking about how this was supposed to be converting people that maybe haven't bought a Wii U yet. This was supposed to be like the thing that was going to rally everyone around maybe picking one up. I mean, I think there's something to be said for the fact that they simultaneously, before E3 said we're not going to be showing the new Zelda and we're not going to be showing the NX. I think there's something to be said for that. That might imply, and this is, obviously just pure speculation. I am a person sitting in my apartment in New Jersey. I have no bearing on anything. But it could imply that just like Twilight Princess got delayed because they wanted to do a simul release between GameCube and the Wii, that this new Zelda game is going to come out on the Wii U and on this NX thing, whatever that might be. They said we'll be hearing about the NX next year. That could be a next year E3 thing, gets released at the end of 2016 along with the new Zelda. That's very possible, I think.
Pull the Twilight Princess all over again and kind of ship it both sides. That 1 foot in, 1 foot out is just so.
It's constant.
Yeah.
It's like how they've decided to run their company.
Yeah. I always say that I'm Nintendo's disappointed father. Like, I'm always just like, oh, you have everything. You're so close. You're so close. You couldn't hit the home run. You struck out. I mean, I'm still proud of you, but you struck out.
Yeah.
I mean, we should at least touch on the other things. I know we're like just shitting all over this. Like, we should at least touch. That's going to be the theme for this whole thing, which is so unfortunate because the whole day was weird. Yeah. So they announced Zelda. They announced Hyrule Warriors getting a release on the 3DS, which we knew already that leaked last week. That's exciting, I think, for people who haven't played Hyrule Warriors. If you have and you've played it on the Wii U, it's a spectacular game. And if not, I don't know. It's worth picking up if you're into those kinds of games. I think personally that the NX console is going to be a hybrid handheld thing that you can take around with you and then like plug it into your TV. Yeah. And then it becomes a TV system.
Yeah, that has to be. It has to be it. That has to be it, right? Like, if that's not it, then this is all like over.
This is all for naught. Right? We'll shut down the
website. Yeah. That's like 3DS, your system, like Wii U, like it's like the bridge is there. Like, just cross it, Nintendo. Just do it,
Right, but don't you think we're gonna get the weird lime Tostitos out of it?
We're gonna get lime Tostitos again, and nobody wants the lime Tostitos.
Yeah. So I think that this Hyrule Warriors thing is going to end up being like a test run for that. That's my theory, at least. That they're like testing out what is it like to have some kind of cross game functionality between two systems. But we'll see. I have no real idea. Next week we had Fire Emblem, which is exciting, but again, no gameplay. So, which is the thing we talked about a lot yesterday, which was just like, you can show me a million cinematic trailers, and I'm excited by the name of the game that's coming out, but I'm not going to make a purchasing decision unless you show me what that game plays like. And Fire Emblem was that way, and Shin Megami Tensei Fire Emblem was that way as well, which also, the second one was, as Chris was just saying, entirely in Japanese with no subtitles and no English dubs.
I didn't even know what that portion was for, because I was just kind of watching it like, okay,
Because I didn't say.
Yeah.
It was just all in Japanese.
Japanese cartoon people, and I have no idea what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, it's exciting. I mean, people have been waiting for that game for a really long time.
Mhm.
It was announced like I think 2 years ago at this point. It's like weirdly Nintendo's Last Guardian in a strange way, and it's finally coming out, so that's exciting. They showed off Xenoblade Chronicles X. We've been seeing that for like 2 years now as well. It's already out in Japan. Comes out here at the end of the year. Like, if you're excited about Xenoblade, you're already excited about Xenoblade. You know,
Yeah.
I'm not. I don't mean to shit on these games, but I'm just shitting on them in the context of this presentation.
Yeah.
Where, like, they were poorly timed and unfortunate things to be talking about.
To
at this
show
exact
something
moment.
that the fact that they're showing something that everybody knows is coming pretty soon, or in the case of Xenoblade, already is released.
Available, yeah, in other places, yeah.
Like that just reinforces the fact that they've got nothing.
Yeah.
Like they are just pulling at the barest bones of what they can. Like they pumped out a couple of 3DS games. Like, okay,
yeah,
your flagship home console is flagging, and you're not relieving it. You're not like giving it any kind of life, anything.
But don't all these signs point to the NX being like almost imminent at this point? Like they clearly had things in the pipeline. I know the studio that worked on the original Metroid Prime is working on something for Nintendo, and we don't know what it is, and everyone is expecting to see it today. Don't you think that maybe like 6 months ago, Reggie Fils-Aimé called them up and said, "Hey, we have this new console. Now you're making it for this"? Like, that's what I'm starting to think, is that like this is a weird. Oh, let's just fill all these holes in. It's weirdly like the Apple event when they were supposed to have the Apple TV, and then suddenly they couldn't like lock down the deals at the last second, and had to talk about Swift for like an extra 14 minutes. You know, like that's what it feels like. They're just filling in space.
Only way that this could be okay is if they actually hit launch window, which is something they never, ever accomplish.
That's a lot to ask of Nintendo. Like,
they followed this up with Animal Crossing Happy Home Designer, which is a thing that I am unashamed to be incredibly excited about.
Yes.
3DS game, build houses, design houses, cool shit. But then they followed that up with the most egregious thing that I thought I would see at E3 until Square Enix came along. But they showed off, like, so they were showing like the little 3DS window with Happy Home Designers, clearly 3DS, and then all of a sudden it went whoop, and it was like, oh shit, we're in 1080p now, and a whole bunch of Animal Crossing characters walked out of the town hall, and my whole Twitter feed was Animal Crossing Wii U confirmed. It's fucking happening. Get hype. They showed amiibos. They were like, oh, you can put amiibo, like Animal Crossing amiibos. It was like everyone collectively lost their shit simultaneously, and then it ended up being a board game. It was like a Mario. It's not even a Mario Party. It's like a weird Mario Party ripoff with Animal Crossing characters. Like, who? In what world?
What?
In what world is your first Animal Crossing property for Wii U a board game? In what world is it not just DLC for Mario Party? And like, I don't even know. I don't even know how to explain the disappointment I felt.
How do they just continually? They have a rabid audience that is so loyal despite every terrible thing that they do to them, and yet they just squander it over and over and over again.
Yeah. That was easily the most disappointing moment of probably the day for me. I would have to say. But if we have nothing, I mean, there's not much to say about it. It just kind of sucked. And if we have nothing else to say about it,
and Weird Muppet.
And what?
If you haven't seen the Weird Muppet portions of that presentation, you should watch those. If nothing else, because they're absolutely crazy.
It was no more or less weird than the Robot Chicken stuff from last year.
Yeah.
I was coming to this expecting something weirdly on that level, and I got that, and I'm actually I liked it. I was into it. That's what I mean. Nintendo always puts on a good show, even when they're missing every ball that you throw at them.
They can be strangely self-aware that way, like with the World Championships video that they put out with, was it Machinima, I think, working on it with them?
Yeah.
Like that was like, yeah, that's a Nintendo that like knows Nintendo's place in the world, and then they go out today and like just don't get it like at all.
Exactly. Yeah. It was like that whole thing with Bill Trinan like being fired and replaced with a 6-year-old. Like that's a really funny, clever thing that's not in any of the games they showed today.
Bill Trinan Job Simulator 2015.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's gonna be the first. That's gonna be the launch game for NX. So they followed that up with Yoshi's Woolly World, which again we've seen a lot. It's coming out this year. They announced co-op, which actually I was really excited about. That sounds really fun to me. Not enough co-op in general, especially like because I always want to play Splatoon co-op and you just can't. And I want to like play online co-op and you can't do that. What else was there? I guess there was a.
Oh man, not to interrupt, but the PC gaming show is finally over.
Oh shit!
It's 11:30. It ended.
PC Gaming Watch. It's over. It took 2.5 hours, but
they ended with No Man's Sky, if I saw correctly.
It's launching the same day on PC as PS4.
Oh, that's actually a pretty big deal.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Wow. Okay. That's actually.
And they showed a StarCraft and Heroes of the Storm expansions.
Oh,
okay.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Buried in this 2.5 hour long, like...
Yeah, I'll have to go back and watch that. I mean, I hope that they do it again next year. I just hope that it's a little more coherent and like a little more aware of what the people actually want to be seeing.
Yep.
We should talk about that later because I weirdly, it was a huge bummer in the exact opposite way that I thought it was going to be. So
it's actually a nice build and like crescendo end to like the day.
Yeah, well, that's the end of E3 now. Like E3, I mean, there's gonna be another day of like the floor being open, but that was it for
presentation.
Yeah. Other Nintendo news: new Mario Tennis, probably exciting. Mario Party, not Mario Party. Paper Mario crossover with the Mario and Luigi RPG games, which are good and well liked by a lot of people. Not me personally, but I understand why people are excited. And then they ended, for some reason, with Super Mario Maker, which, like, weird way to end it, I guess, because that's such a known quantity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just like, I don't know. I was hoping for fucking anything, guys. I was hoping for anything.
Anything.
Was there any new information on that, or was that all sort of everything we kind of knew already?
No, it was kind of like talking about what you get in the collector's edition and like a couple extra things.
Fancy book, and here's the 8-bit Mario amiibo that does something crazy in Mario Maker.
Yeah, exactly, and I think it also works with Smash if I'm not mistaken. Like just it's fun, I guess.
There's the 8-bit amiibo, which are sure to sell out everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to be gone immediately. They're going to be gone.
Because they made like 5 of them.
Right.
Yeah. My favorite joke that I kept seeing online, because when they were showing off the Yoshi's Woolly World stuff, they were like, oh, and we're going to have amiibos, and the creator of Yoshi's Woolly World was sitting there in front of a table of like probably 50 amiibos, and the running gag was that those were all of the Yoshi's Woolly World amiibos that existed in the world, and that we're going to make any more of them. Because that woman had to take them by hand, which I thought was absolutely hilarious. So that's the end of Nintendo. Nintendo was just like, I mean, based on this tweet, they're clearly aware that it was a bummer.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of more excited to talk about Square Enix being a bummer because it was just like what I was saying during it was that it was like they forgot they had homework due, so they like quickly finished it during the Nintendo thing.
Oh no!
The Square Enix presentation was like just really strange and like no pacing at all, like no understanding of crowd pleasing or crowd control or anything. It was just so strange. It was so like oblivious and
Like setting up clips to set up somebody talking to set up another clip.
yeah, which is the best moment by
Boring.
far. I mean,
Yeah.
the biggest thing in the beginning was Just Cause 3, which is
Yeah.
a game that is wonderfully self-aware and is spectacular, and I'm really excited about it.
Yeah.
Yet okay, so I was actually out to lunch during the Square Enix presentation, but I went back and
Yeah,
watched a
I was
bunch of
too,
it.
actually. I ended up watching it later. Yeah.
Why did the Just Cause video that they showed, was that like, did that feel like a shareholder video of like why it was the most innovative explosions ever made by anyone? Watch all these explosions happen in HD with real physics. Explosions.
People like explosions.
Yeah.
Now the parachute is better for shooting, but they said it in such a way that it was like in marketing speak,
Yeah.
which was crazy to me. It's like, now the parachute is an even more efficient platform for Rico's shooting.
Do you think that was tongue-in-cheek, or do you think that was like
I don't know.
them being totally oblivious to what was happening?
I think at a certain point, tongue-in-cheek has to acknowledge that it's being tongue-in-cheek.
And this didn't. Yeah, I agree.
This just went for 5 minutes describing Just Cause with marketing speak.
Yeah.
Who put this video together? You just show a bunch of explosions and ridiculous things happening, and people are already excited.
Yeah.
Yeah. They weirdly enough did that same thing with Hitman. I'm just looking at a tweet from Rami, who he works at Vlambeer, made Ridiculous Fishing, spectacular games. He just tweeted out a list of the marketing words that they use to describe Hitman. Revolutionary, the world, genuine masterpiece, freedom, rewards, options, perfect, forever evolved, deepest, and expansive.
Wait, was forever evolved one term, or was that more than one?
Forever.
Yeah, forever evolved, yeah. Those are the words they use to describe Hitman, so good on them, guys. I think the moment that you were referring to, Tim, which is like 100% my favorite thing that happened, was I mean, I'm going to break this down in the exact order that it happened, because it's very important that if you didn't watch this, you experience it the way everyone else on the internet experienced.
If you watch the video later, there was no editing done to it. It's how it aired.
Yeah, so they said we'd like to welcome to the stage the producer of the Kingdom Hearts franchise. And he walks on stage. Everyone's very, very excited, obviously. The room is abuzz, because this is the reason everyone's really here. Because we already saw the Final Fantasy VII announcement. We already know, like, a lot of the shit that Square Enix is doing. So this is, like, why you're at the Square Enix event. He gets up on stage. The person who's doing the Japanese to English translations, their mic isn't on. So this man is just on stage speaking in Japanese with no translation. Everyone obviously assuming that he's talking about Kingdom Hearts 3. So then they start fading out into some kind of gameplay trailer. And while that happens, you can hear a mic turn on, someone whisper, "Shit!" And then the mic turns off. And then the mic turns off as they fade not into Kingdom Hearts 3, but a completely irrelevant game. Yep. I don't even remember what it was. I just thought that was an incredible moment.
Kingdom Hearts is the source of a lot of joy.
Yeah. Oh my God, people were so excited when he walked up on stage, and then
was that the mobile Kingdom Hearts?
It wasn't. Yeah. So the next thing that happened was they come back. The English translator, his mic is on now. Thank God. And they say, and now we're going to show you some new Kingdom Hearts. Everyone again assuming it's Kingdom Hearts 3. Instead, it's a mobile version of Kingdom Hearts that they're announcing. which exists and will be in the world whether we like it or not.
Is it a new mobile game, or is it a mobile version of...
It is a new mobile game that is supposed to take place before Kingdom Hearts 3. That is
the game that I will need to know what happens in it, and I will not play, probably.
Yeah, I know Polygon has a really good recap of the entire Kingdom Hearts story, which
That's useful.
Just keep that shit bookmarked when that mobile game comes out, so you can just look at the updates. So they announced that, and then again, this is still in the exact order that it happened in real life, in the world that we all live in and share together. he then comes out of the Kingdom Hearts mobile and says, the Kingdom Hearts 3 logo shows up behind him, and he goes, "It's time to show you what you're all here for," because he knows.
See, he knows. He's self-aware. He's aware why they're there.
Right.
Giving the people what they want.
He knows as well as we do. I tweeted this out, so I need to find the exact phrasing of this.
Okay.
Okay, wait, here it is. Yes, there it is. So this guy gets up, he says, "This is what you're all here for. But before I show you Kingdom Hearts 3, let's go to a word from some very special people." The very special people in this case were Disney executives, namely the Vice President of Worldwide Management and Franchise Development, and some person named Roy.
Yeah. He didn't introduce him as Roy first. He made some sort of joke this is Master whatever. Yeah. And it was no, my name's just Roy or whatever.
But yeah, he just became Roy.
Yeah. No, I'm really Roy. And then what he did, catch what he said too, right after, towards the end of it, he's yeah, I'm working on a very special trilogy of movies that I want. It's called Tangled. I hope you guys enjoy it. And then it cuts back to the crowd, and no one quite knows what.
What the fuck just happened? Tangled? Yeah, no one is.
That was a good movie. Yeah, that Tangled was good.
Tangled was great. Wait, there's gonna be 2 more? That's a whole different announcement. It's a weird offhand.
Yeah, let's announce that at E3. What?
I don't know if it was it seemed like they kept trying to make jokes that nobody got. Yeah. I don't know.
So then he goes, "Okay, so now it's time to show you Kingdom Hearts 3." And this was incredible. This was unbelievable. As they're fading into the trailer, he goes, "Oh wait, Roy is in the audience." And they stop fading out, and they pan the camera over to Roy, who then stands up and waves to everyone. What? What? Everyone.
Brendan, I think that needs to be the clip from today.
Oh yeah, I should. Oh fuck.
Yeah, Roy.
You're right. Yeah.
Done.
You're right. I didn't even think about that. That's happening. So then we stopped to say hi to Roy for a bit. Catch up with our bud Roy, and but unfortunately not the Vice President of Worldwide Management and Franchise Development, who I would have also liked to have seen. But then we get into Kingdom Hearts 3, because now we are doing the thing that Square Enix did in making this last this long. But Kingdom Hearts 3 is incredible.
Yeah.
It looks unbelievable. I mean, there's no snark that you could possibly muster up, in relation to the actual gameplay footage that was shown. It
looks super good.
It looks beautiful.
It looks like they added a lot of really... The thing that they kept seeming to be showing off was these Keyblade transformations and Disney-specific summons.
Yeah.
Which were all kind of neon versions of the Peter Pan ship. And
they're all vehicles, which was really interesting. They're all somehow, there was a literal hype train that appeared. There was the chariot from Hercules. It was, I don't know, it was just very interesting. I mean, again, we don't have much info about what the game will be like or when it's coming out, because they ended it with quote unquote now in development, but it looks incredible if that's where they're at right now. I mean,
what have they been doing this whole time? If only now they're in development.
Yeah, what were they doing between last year when they said it was now in development and now? Because it's now been in development twice, according to their press releases. So that was interesting. And great. And I'm still not getting my hopes up. I still don't. I'm not going to believe that Kingdom Hearts 3 is real until like it's in my PS4 and I'm playing it.
Yeah.
I choose to ignore the existence of Kingdom Hearts 3 until that point. Sorry, I'm just going through my tweets. Someone tweeted out, "Do you think Square Enix won E3?" That was so good. Yeah, and then they talked about Hitman. They talked about there was a Star Ocean game announced, which is exciting.
Yeah.
For some people, Star Ocean is a game that I really wanted to get into and couldn't. But I'll probably give it another whirl. Realistically. Man, so many things. Oh, the last thing that they announced I thought was fascinating. They announced a new studio, which I don't know why this was their last, we have one more crazy thing.
Yeah.
It's not the new iPhone. It's instead a new studio called, and this is the real name, Tokyo RPG Factory.
Oh, God. Oh, God.
That's...
Oh, God. Why?
I don't know. What a bad name. It's an awful name.
Excuse me.
It's just like that does not instill faith in what they're creating. You know what I mean?
Which no one.
What are they creating? Tokyo RPGs.
Yeah, we don't know. We saw some
art.
concept art for whatever exists. But as far as I know, it's literally just like fucking meat grinder, of RPGs.
As far as like terms that evoke interest in anything artistic, factory is usually the last thing you want to use.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Music Factory, like that's cool. Tokyo Game Factory, not quite. It doesn't have the same effect.
Yeah, the Tokyo RPG Sellout Parade might have even been a better name. And I mean, there were what else happened? Oh, there was a new Deus Ex that was like a fucking nightmare to hear them talk about that game. Which I know there's a lot of fans of Deus Ex. Chris, you are one. I know. I should like that game, and I will try the new one. But that presentation again was just it was just a woman on stage just talking about the plot basically. And she specifically said mechanical apartheid, which I thought was like kind of tasteless. Wait, speaking of tasteless things, we also didn't mention that that Super Mario Maker is coming out on September 11th, which I thought was like really weird.
Oh yeah.
Because they phrased it as the 11th of September because they knew that that's what was happening. They knew that everyone was going to say, "Why are you putting this out on September 11th?" So they changed it to the 11th of September. Like, just put it out on the 12th, guys. Could you please put it out maybe on the 10th? Maybe on the 12th? I don't know. That was just a strange thing.
Yeah.
And also during Square Enix, we got another look at that strange World of Final Fantasy game that's coming out for PS4 and Vita, which. I don't know. It's cute, but we don't really know what it is still. That's like the theme of today. Was like we don't know what the game is, but you're showing it to us.
Yeah, like Square Enix, they seemed like they were like halfway there to getting it. They had the lineup of like Tomb Raider and Just Cause and Hitman and Final Fantasy and Kingdom Hearts, and it's like, oh yeah, this is a company that's got it together. Like Square Enix is tight. They have their core and they're going for it. And then like the presentation was just like you said, like, oh shit, we have a presentation to do today. Here, go out there and say this,
Yeah. Let's pretend we've been planning this for months.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, so someone they all had like a team huddle in the back and they were like, "Okay, guys," and they all chanted in Japanese, "Fake it till you make it" at the same time. And it did not go well. Yes, that was Square Enix. Again, just like a weird experience. I mean, they had good games, but just didn't land.
Yeah.
Not unlike the next conference, which just ended. As opposed, I thought it was going to end.
Later.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be on my deathbed and it was going to end.
Oh, God.
The PC press conference. This is the first time I've ever done one. It's put on by what is it, PC Gamer?
Yeah.
Magazine.
Mm-hmm.
PC Gamer,
And,
Twitch.
Yeah, PC Gamer, Twitch, Xbox, and AMD.
Yeah.
Are like the big guys.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know what to say about it. Like, they announce cool things in the worst way. They announce cool things just like in just a really mundane, like hard to watch in some cases way. And it's not the fault of the guy who was hosting, I don't believe. I just think the format of saying like, this is a late night talk show and we're going to interview every person that's involved with every game that we announce, is just not the way to do an event like this.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think they could have really. You kind of look at that and you see like how the big guys have their presentations put together, where like they've got the time for like the big kind of announcements, like the No Man's Sky to close and Gears of War coming.
It's time. It's time. They pace it well because they understand what the crowd wants and how they're going to react to it.
And they've been doing it for a long time.
Right.
Which actually, that's really something that we should, I think, touch on, is just like, this is the first one. You kind of got to give them the benefit of the doubt in this case, where it's like, they tried something new.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't work out. I really highly doubt we're going to see anything close to this next year. If PC Gamer comes back with a new conference next year, it'll be either something that looks like this and is much more polished, or something that looks nothing like this and is still much more polished.
Yeah.
I just hope that they let Day 9 keep his job, because I think he was doing a good job with what he was given.
For sure. Yeah, I think he did a good job of interviewing everyone, and it was interesting. It just went on for too long, and there wasn't enough like meat to it,
Yeah.
Yeah, they filled it with a lot of talking, and didn't have a lot of content to back it up. And I think that while I appreciate the attempt to kind of go a little more in depth, I apologize for my hiccups. Like I felt like he kind of was in a position where he could kind of directly deal with people in a certain way. Like Dean Hall, a lot of people are pissed off at you, and that was a thing that he said on stage and that they had to deal with. And then when Bohemia people came, he said, DayZ has been in early access for a really long time. What's the deal?
Yeah.
So like I think there's the foundation for something interesting there.
Yeah. A much more candid.
I think it's more of like a Twitch show than it is an E3 conference.
Press conference. Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally agree with you. At least that's what it felt like this year. As we're saying, maybe next year.
Yeah, everything could completely change.
They'll buck that, but this year I completely agree. And it's nice to have like kind of, I guess, a more earnest thing going on. It's just I think poor ordering of events, but strangely enough, what were we saying?
There was a lot of talk about. I guess I should have seen it coming with AMD sponsoring it, but they did spent a lot of time on graphics cards and all, which can, if you're really if you're an enthusiast for PC gaming, then that's pretty exciting stuff. But
yeah, I mean the R9, from what I know, has already been like a big deal, that people have been following it pretty closely, and the fact that they're putting out 10 new ones of a variety of different specs, like that's a pretty big release. And as far as, I mean, if I were a like super hardcore PC gamer, that'd probably be the thing that I was most excited about.
Yeah. Definitely, because NVIDIA just had their big announcement. I guess it was either last week or 2 weeks ago, where they announced basically the same graphics card as the Titan X, but I think it's like anywhere between $300 to $400 cheaper. It has like almost the same power. Yeah. So everyone was just kind of expecting this to be like an AMD graphics card showcase, which it was, for better or for worse. I think the most interesting thing, weirdly enough, was that AMD's building a pre-built game computer, like gaming rig that you can buy. That looks like really strange. It's like, how do I show you? It's weird.
Yeah.
It's like, like this part has all of the computational shit in it. And then there's another piece up top, so it's like two of these stacked on top of each other with like the exhaust fans in between.
Weird.
Yeah, it's very strange, but it has two super high performance graphics cards in it, and they didn't announce a price point or anything, but it looks like the real shit. But again, their audience is not the kind of audience that's going to go out and buy a pre-built thing. Like, their audience will buy their graphics card separately and build their own rig. I will buy a pre-built one probably. But yeah, I don't know. It was interesting. They announced good things, as we said. They had Steve Gaynor from Fulbright come out on stage and talk about Tacoma, which is, as I was saying yesterday and the day before, I think, one of my games of the show. I'm very excited for Tacoma. We had Roller Coaster Tycoon developers come out and announce a new theme park building game a la City Skylines, but for theme parks. Like, that's awesome.
They announced, so Tripwire kind of started off the whole thing, and they talked about Killing Floor 2, which is a game that I probably would enjoy playing. I just haven't, because my PC hates me and I can't play anything on it because it'll turn off. So they talked about Killing Floor, which I guess is coming out of early access, and then they talked about Rising Storm 2 Vietnam, which I am super excited about because I am a big fan of Red Orchestra. Rising Storm was I guess you could say, standalone expansion to Red Orchestra 2 that took place in the Pacific Theater between Japanese and American soldiers, where Red Orchestra Vanilla is Russians versus Germans. But
very well received DLC. Very well received DLC.
Yeah. And so the fact that they're expanding that is really great. So for those who don't know, Red Orchestra 2 is a PC first-person shooter. These hiccups are driving me crazy. And it just sounds like pauses to you guys.
I'm just going to let you keep doing it, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it is a PC first-person shooter. It prides itself on its realism in that you get shot once, you're basically about to be dead. You get shot anywhere in any vital part of your body, you're gonna die instantly.
Yeah. It's very hardcore. You will be ridden with anxiety if you play that game. It's fantastic.
One of the fondest memories I have is playing it with a friend of mine, and literally the two of us are just crawling up a hill, hearing bullets whizzing over our heads, and listening to somebody who clearly knew what he was doing, and he was kind of issuing orders over the voice chat.
Right.
And all of a sudden, this coordinated assault of a bunch of people gets up and runs up this hill together and takes over. It rewards playing smart and playing as a team. You try and do anything even close to Call of Duty, Battlefield, you are going to get torn up immediately.
Right.
So the fact that they're jumping into the Vietnam conflict, which is rife with guerrilla tactics and hiding in the brush and tunnels and all kinds of craziness like that, it really lends itself to that, to their gameplay. So I am very excited.
You seem excited.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think what else dropped.
Killer Instinct is coming to the PC.
Killer Instinct is coming to the PC. Oh, new Pillars of Eternity DLC.
Yep.
It showed off more Deus Ex.
More Deus Ex, exactly. And apparently we missed the No Man's Sky announcement, which would have been cool to watch. But they went
I don't think they
forever.
showed anything. Because I had the video running silent in the background, and it looks like they just talked to Mr. Hello Games about
Sean.
whatever.
Sean something. I forget what his name is, but yeah. Yeah, all in all, and I guess this is kind of wrapping up, but like all in all, like today was just a weird day of E3 compared to yesterday.
Yeah.
A lot of disappointment, which like, sorry if you're watching because we just talked about like how shitty the whole day was.
Video games are over. Sorry.
No more games.
Done.
Yeah. Honestly, like E3 is still amazing, and there's still cool shit coming out, and I'm still excited. You know, I'm still excited about Nintendo, regardless of, you know, what their digital event was like, because, you know, with their Nintendo Directs, they could go out and announce a new Pokemon game tomorrow if they wanted to, which actually was something I wanted to touch on, but maybe I'll touch on a little bit later, was the things that we thought were going to be at Nintendo that ended up not being at Nintendo. But I don't know, all in all, of all the E3 press conferences, if you put a gun to my head and said pick a winner, I would say you're stupid, but I would also say that it was Sony.
Yeah.
At least for me. I mean, I went online last night and I saw some really compelling arguments for why Microsoft won. Like, it was really a toss-up between them. And then a lot of people think Bethesda won also, which I can get behind that also.
Yeah,
Sure,
they showed off a lot of great stuff.
Yeah. They definitely generated more excitement than Nintendo did, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're a company that is multi-platform. Like, they don't even have to get a console base excited, and they still manage to do better.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do want to get... I'm thinking about doing a little article that's just like everyone who writes for Alphabet writes a little blurb about what their favorite game of E3 was, but if you guys had to pick one like right now, what do you think is your favorite thing that happened game-wise? Like what like if you could take one game from E3 home right now, what would it be?
Man, that's I have to take only one. I would go with the safe bet. I'd take Fallout 4 home right now and just spend the rest of the year with it, you know?
Ooh, that's such a great,
Because then you'd have enough time to play Fallout 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's weird, like, thinking practically, I also think Fallout 4. What game am I most excited about, I think, because I do think it's going to live up to the expectations, is Battlefront. But I think, like, if I was to be a weird nerd about it, I would pick Fallout 4 so I could have enough time to play it before Battlefront came out.
Yeah.
I don't know if you watched yesterday's show, Tim, but was it Fallout 4 comes out a week before Battlefront?
You're really?
So you have a week to beat Fallout 4.
Well, I was doing the math too, and Metal Gear Solid 5 is the 1st of September, and expansion is the 15th, so that gives you about 2 weeks to burn through Metal Gear Solid 5 before you have to play the new Destiny expansion.
You and me, Tim, we're gonna be rocking that boat.
Oh my God. I was talking about it with most of my clanmates, and I'm like, I think all the prep is gonna be like the 2 weeks before Metal Gear Solid, because there's no way that game goes down without a fight.
Yeah. Oh my God. It's gonna be a nice.
So much money.
The end of this year, just in general. And then it seems like next year is already going to be a nightmare of releases as well. But this year in particular, you're right, just with Destiny, which we got to get our Destiny show going, definitely.
Yeah,
but,
totally.
Be on
lookout for that.
Yeah. We mentioned it last night. We kind of teased it, I guess. But between Destiny expansion and Metal Gear and Fallout and Battlefront and
Just Cause and Tomb Raider.
Just Cause and Tomb Raider.
Video games are back.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah,
there's even a thing coming out on the Vita.
Oh, Batman's next week, by the way, too.
Yeah, Batman's next week. I'm really excited. I think I'm probably gonna stream a lot of Batman, honestly.
Nice. Okay.
Which I'm excited about. But I guess that wraps it up here today. I have a voice at the end of today because there wasn't as much to talk about as yesterday because it was so disappointing.
You can hit it with a low register of just like Nintendo, man.
Nintendo, man.
Yeah, just stay down
here. Yeah. And to our new Nintendo rep that might be watching, sorry.
Oh, hey!
You seem very nice via the emails we send. So I guess that about wraps it up.
Cut us out already.
Yeah, that wraps it up for maybe not entirely our E3 coverage. I'm trying to decide if we should do another one of these at like the end of the week after some more info trickles out, and we just can kind of do like a wrap up show.
Yeah,
But,
I think we can look forward to something tomorrow and more news. So
I think there's gonna be a bunch of gameplay demos that we can't see being away from E3 proper. That I think we could probably weigh in on. Perhaps a highlight reel, if you will, of things that we see throughout the week.
If we can get most of the crew together to do like a big like E3 wrap up show and just kind of free reign to just talk about everything, that would be really neat.
Yeah, I think that'd be super cool. So that said, my name is Brendan Bigley from awfulbit.com. We are all from awfulbit.com. You can find us all over the internet. We are at awfulbit everywhere: Twitter, Facebook, Tumblr, Twitch, YouTube, and Zanga.
Talking about our deep, dark feelings. This is Chris Morris.
I'm Tim Linares.
Yeah, you did it.
You slipped that in there. I wasn't ready.
I snuck it in. Sorry.
Yeah.
that was real sneaky. That was some Sly Coopery shit, my friend. Anyway, that's it. Hey, thanks for stopping by, and feel free to follow us on Twitter and stuff. Bye.
Everywhere. Bye.
I love you.